Millions of Australians are now facing serious health challenges after the shots, with growing concerns about accelerated ageing in younger people. Tragic stories of loved ones suffering heart attacks and strokes are becoming disturbingly common. Until now, Australian health officials have parroted Big Pharma's narrative, gaslighting the public about vaccine dangers. But the truth is getting harder to ignore. Ambulances are overwhelmed, and the body bags keep piling up.
People in this country and globally have been steamrolled. It is also clear that it has been coordinated globally. It is also clear that it has been integrated, not just over 6 months, not just over 2.5 years, but it has been planned over decades. The changes to legislation in this country were done so that they could control doctors and people. But the people are waking, and it's thanks to people like Dr. Altman and all the presenters here today, thanks to people like Senator Babette and Craig Kelly. We know and we knew that this is all bullshit and that we've been had. But we are going to hound you down, the people that are guilty. We are going to hound you down and hold you accountable, and we will expose your global agenda so that the people of Australia can be free in the future. Because I love my kids, and I'm looking forward to my grandkids. And we are going to save this country.
Now, you may be thinking that Senator Roberts is ill-informed, or that he is exaggerating in his claims that the pandemic and vaccine rollout has been coordinated globally, planned over decades, and the changes in legislation in this country were done so that they could control doctors and people. These claims do seem quite extraordinary to those who are not well informed of the facts. But these claims are well supported by many global experts, including Dr. David Martin, who has been a biological weapons expert advisor to the US government for 25 years. Here are some key facts, fully supported by documented evidence, which have been presented by Dr. Martin to numerous US and other government leaders around the world, including the European Parliament. Dr. Martin outlines that various patents exist on coronaviruses, with initial filings dating back to 2002.
SARS is actually not a natural progression of a zoonotic modification of coronavirus. As a matter of fact, very specifically, in 1999, Anthony Fauci funded research at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, specifically to create, and you cannot help but lament what I'm about to read, because this comes directly from a patent application filed on April 19th, 2002, and you heard the date correctly, 2002, where the NIAID built an infectious replication defective coronavirus that was specifically targeted for human lung epithelium. In other words, we made SARS. And we patented it on April 19th, 2002, before there was ever any alleged outbreak in Asia, which, as you know, followed that by several months. That patent, issued as U.S. Patent 7279327, that patent clearly lays out in very specific gene sequencing the fact that we knew that the ACE receptor, the ACE2 binding domain, the S1 spike protein, and other elements of what we have come to know as this scourge pathogen was not only engineered, but could be synthetically modified in the laboratory using nothing more than gene sequencing technologies, taking computer code and turning it into a pathogen or an intermediate of the pathogen.
White hat police officers and senior prosecutors, horrified by the lawlessness and authoritarianism during the pandemic, are rising up. They're exposing corrupt colleagues who abuse their power, officers who brutalised innocent people under the guise of public safety. But they're not stopping there. They're going after the ones who gave the orders, the politicians, the bureaucrats and the corporate elites who orchestrated it all. And this time, justice is coming from within.
Sergeant, there are reports that a faction within the Australian police force is preparing to take action against high-profile figures involved in the COVID vaccine rollout. Can you confirm this?
Look, I'll tell you this. What we've uncovered is bloody shocking. The evidence is overwhelming and there's no way to sweep this under the rug. This wasn't just bureaucratic incompetence. It was a coordinated crime against the people. We swore an oath to protect and serve, and that means going after the real criminals, no matter how powerful they are.
But the legal system seems to be stacked in their favour. Are you really saying you'll move forward with arrests despite the political and institutional barriers?
Damn right we will. The whole system is rigged. Politicians, judges, health officials, big pharma execs, the media, all covering for each other, keeping the truth buried. But we're not playing along anymore. We're making the arrests. And when we do, it's going to send shockwaves through the entire establishment.
Are you concerned about retaliation? You're going up against some of the most powerful people in the country.
Of course. That's why I'm staying anonymous for now. But once we move, once those first arrests happen, I'll stand by every word. We're not just talking about a few bad actors. We're talking about an entire system that let this happen, that profited off it, and left people to suffer. Someone has to bring it down, and we're ready to start.
What do you want the public to do?
We need people to back us. The world needs to see what's happening. We know most people regret taking these shots. It's not just Australians, it's the whole world. The people were misled, pressured, and lied to. This is their chance to step up, to show some backbone and demand justice. No more silence, no more sitting on the fence. We're taking action. Now the people need to do their part.
As the global elite scramble to evade justice, we must recognise the full weight of their crime. Using biological weapons to harm or kill is a violation of the Geneva Convention, signed in 1949 by both US President Eisenhower and Australian Prime Minister Ben Chifley. The penalty? Death by hanging or firing squad. Australians are rightly outraged, especially as their institutions have been corrupted by Big Pharma and global interests. Take Judge Helen Rofe QC. She dismissed the lawsuit seeking to halt Pfizer's vaccine rollout, despite claims the company violated laws on genetically modified organisms. What she failed to disclose? She was on Pfizer's payroll. Her ruling allowed Pfizer and Moderna to continue injecting Australians, turning the country into one of the most vaccinated nations on Earth.
As many as 104,000 deaths may have occurred directly from COVID-19 vaccines, and 2.3 million serious adverse reactions. That is almost 1 in 10 Australians who may have been seriously adversely affected by these products, taken under the assurance by all government leaders and health authorities that they were safe and effective.
Australia is working hard to ensure we all have access to safe, effective and free COVID-19 vaccines.
But even so, I think that demonstrates that we do need to continue to stress the vaccines as being safe and effective.
What's the message for the public? It's safe, it's effective, it will help protect you.
Australia's COVID-19 vaccines have passed the Therapeutic Goods Administration's strict tests, which means they are safe and effective.
The COVID-19 vaccines are very safe and effective.
The COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective for children.
Over 1,500 children received that vaccine in that clinical trial, and it proved highly safe and effective in that trial.
Ever since taking the trial COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer in 2020, 14-year-old Maddie DeGarry has experienced extreme reactions and had to be placed in a wheelchair. Now, over 2 years later, Maddie is still in serious condition with vision problems, poor neck control, waist down numbness, and she needs a feeding tube. Stephanie DeGarry is Maddie's mother, and she joins us now. Has anyone from Pfizer or the federal government reached out to you to see what is going on with Maddie and why she has not recovered from this trial vaccine?
No, they have not. I feel like we're living in a horror movie, to be honest with you. I don't know how else to describe it.
And it's fascinating because you would think that Pfizer would want to know what happened to the children in their trial. And our federal government continues to recommend the vaccine for children and even babies. What are your thoughts on that?
They should not be recommending this for children or babies. There's no benefit to it. There's only bad things that are going to happen, and there's more and more kids that this is happening to.
The criminals have been put on notice, and as Senator Roberts warns, they'll be hunted down. People are waking up. A critical mass is forming in Japan, Australia, and beyond. Nations once thought lost to the globalists. But time is running out. The elite must face justice now, before they unleash their next manufactured crisis and tighten their grip on future generations. Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our amazing team and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6ers.